beats.
Viewer discretion is advised. If you are or were a victim of sexual assault as an adult or minor, I suggest that you do not watch this video as it may be triggering. If you are a victim, I hope that someday you can find proper counseling and overcome the hardships you have faced. I hope someday that you can face the world with a smile on your face and sunshine in your heart, knowing that the perpetrator did not break you. You are not alone, and we the people stand with you. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Sip with Qui. I know it's been a long time, but I was waiting to my last video to get to about 100 views, but I see that, it's taking way too long, so we're just going to keep moving forward. But I want to introduce you to this disgusting, vile waste of life named Cartrell Walls. This is an 18-year-old young man from Chicago who was accused of sexually assaulting a young family member while she was on e-learning. Now, when I first heard of this story, it absolutely broke my heart. I was so disgusted because you have to be a sick individual to look at a child in a sexual manner. You have to be a demon to find a child attractive. This story is currently going viral, and I just want to inform the public of what's going on. So here's the article from Chicago. It says, police are questioning a male suspect after a 7-year-old girl was seen being sexually assaulted on a remote learning application. Around 1:30 p.m. Thursday, police were called to a home in the 200 block of East 89th Place. Police said the girl, a student in Bronzeville Academy Charter School, was observed by a teacher performing a sexual act on a male offender live on an online learning application. The teacher, who was working in school at the time, reported the assault to the principal and school CEO. Boyd says administrators do not believe that other students saw the assault. A male suspect is being questioned by the detectives. It is unknown if charges have been filed. The 7-year-old girl was taken to the Comer Children's Hospital. Her condition is unknown. The Department of Children and Family Services told WGN News Friday that they are also investigating. No charges have been filed. Now, before I move on, I just want to say one thing that irritates me about this is, why would you put the little girl's school out there? Since when do we put the children's school out there so that their identity can be narrowed down to a specific location and then weeded out? You're supposed to protect these kids' identity. She's already been through enough. And this is allegedly what happened at the bond court hearing. It says, prosecutor, the victim is a first grader who was on Google Meets for school class lunch study period. She muted herself but forgot to turn off her camera during study time. 4 other students and a teacher was on the feed. Prosecutor, teacher heard 2 other students asking what's going on. She looked up to see Walls putting his penis into the girl's mouth for oral sex. Teacher ordered the students to log off. Prosecutor, relatives confronted Walls. The girl initially said he only hit her. Later, she said he put his penis on my lips, and it's happened before. It's a secret. Prosecutor, there's a history of Walls forcing her to perform oral sex several times over the past year. He admitted post-Miranda that she gave him oral sex. He started crying, saying, I'm sorry, I don't know why. Now, something that stuck out to me is the fact that she knew to mute her computer, and, she forgot to turn off her camera. Thank goodness she forgot to turn off her camera, because we wouldn't have known about this. But this makes me think this happens every day around this time, that he's coming to her, making her mute her computer, turn off the camera so he can relieve himself. It's so demonic and disgusting. Here are some comments from people under the post. It says, burn him up. He's a freaking pervert. He's done that plenty of times to that baby. Then he gonna tell her it's a secret. I hope they rip him a new one in jail. Oh my freaking God, they need to burn him up. Another person said, nah, you know why you did it. She's his little sister. I'm reading this, but I don't want to believe it's his own freaking little sister. This lady says, so sick. I'm so glad he got caught and he needs to get help. He's nasty. Lastly, the person said, makes me sick. And once again, here's the face of a monster that touches little girls. Some more comments says, I'm so glad this child will be safer now. Cameras won't save him though when those prisoners get to him. He's crying because he got caught, not because he's sorry, and I absolutely believe that. They only cry when they get caught. But why is he crying? He wasn't crying when this little girl's innocence was taken away. He wasn't crying when he was doing this. This is a sick crime. There's much more work to be done. The mental state of our people must be healed. The spiritual state of our people must be lifted. Praying for this family. But why is he crying? The worst is yet to come. Don't cry now. This lady says all news outlets should remove the school the child attends. It's irrelevant for the article. The media traditionally protects young children's identity if they were the victim of a sexual assault. Saying the child's age, and now the school is easy to deduce who it is. Hashtag protect our children. Another man says, I wonder how long it's been going on. It can't be the first time. And then this person says, what is his relationship to her? How long has this been going on? Poor little girl. And I'm sure the kids that saw it, if they were logged on, are traumatized as well. And last comment says, probably come from a family full of secrets. Here's some facts from LaurenKids.org. It says, there are more than 42 million survivors of sexual abuse in America. 1 in 3 girls are sexually abused before the age of 18. 1 in 5 boys are sexually abused before the age of 18. 1 in 5 children are solicited sexually while on the internet before the age of 18. 30% of sexual abuse is never reported. Nearly 70% of all reported sexual assaults, including assaults on adults, occur to children aged 17 or under. 90% of sexual abuse victims know their perpetrator in some way. Approximately 20% of victims are under the age of 8. 95% of sexual abuse is preventable through education. 38% of sexual abusers are boys or female. There's worse lasting emotional damage when a child is abused, started before the age of 6 and lasts for several years. Among a child and teen victims of sexual abuse, there is 42% increased chance of suicidal thoughts during adolescence. This article says that there has been a rise in the number of minors contacting the National Sexual Assault Hotline to report abuse. That's according to RAIN, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, which runs the hotline. By the end of March, with much of the country under lockdown, there was a 22% increase in monthly calls from people younger than 18. Half of all incoming contacts were from minors. That's a first in RAIN's history. Camille Cooper, the organization's vice president of public policy, tells NPR. Of those young people who contacted the hotline in March, 67% identified their perpetrator as a family member, and 79% said they were currently living with that perpetrator. In 1 out of 5 cases, there were a minor living with their abuser. RAIN assisted the minor in immediately contacting the police. As a result of looking at the information that we have had from those sessions, it was clear the abuse was escalating in both frequency and severity, Cooper says. So a lot of the kids that were coming to the hotline were feeling pretty vulnerable and traumatized. And it was a direct result of the COVID-19 because they were quarantined with their abuser. The abuser was now abusing them on a daily basis. Lockdown orders are first and foremost public health and safety measures, but statistically speaking, home is not the safest place for every young person. RAIN reports that about 34% of child sexual abusers are family members. So there's a pleasant update on this story so far. It says no bail for man charged with sexually assaulting 7-year-old during an e-learning live stream. Cook County prosecutors say that a Southside man who sexually assaulted a 7-year-old family member in a disturbing attack that was witnessed by the girl's teachers and classmates during an e-learning session earlier this week. A judge denied bail Saturday for 18-year-old Cartrell Walls, who faces a felony charge of predatory criminal sexual assault, following the encounter that was allegedly caught on video from a West Chesterfield neighborhood home during a break in the girl's online class Thursday afternoon. The microphone was muted on the girl's computer, but the camera was on and a handful of other students were logged on to the Google Meet session, prosecutors said during the Walls bail hearing. The teacher was working on a different computer during the pause in class, and when she heard the 2 other students say, "What is going on? What's happening?" according to prosecutors. When the teacher opened the screen back to her online class, she saw a 7-year-old girl being assaulted, prosecutors said. The teacher yelled for the other students to log off and called the girl's name, telling her to turn off her camera. The teacher allegedly then saw Walls pick up the laptop and close it. The teacher reported what she saw to the school's principal, who called the girl's family, the Chicago police, and authorities from Illinois' Department of Children and Family Services. The girl had been staying at her grandmother's home during the school day. When the girl's father, principal, and school's chief executive officer went to the home to ask the girl what happened, she initially said Walls just hit her. But when the principal spoke with her away from the family, the girl described a sexual assault and said it had happened before. The girl was taken to Comer Children's Hospital for examination. Walls was arrested, and the next day, during an interview with detectives, allegedly admitted to what the teacher and students had seen in the video, as well as other assaults of the girl since she had turned 6 years old. Prosecutors said Walls broke out in tears and told officers, "I don't know why. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry." Walls is a senior in high school and has been diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, which impairs his ability to control his impulses, his defense attorney said. The 18-year-old had been out of jail on bond following a previous felony charge of unlawful use of a weapon, prosecutors said. This ongoing history of assault for approximately a year, according to the victim, leads me to believe that this is not something that will stop just because I have ordered it to, Judge Charles Beach said. His history and his actions from the case lead me to believe that he is a threat to an individual and the community as a whole. At an unrelated Friday press conference, Chicago Public Schools CEO Janice Jackson said, "This situation is definitely disturbing and something that has been unsettling to me personally since I heard about it. But I also think it just makes me more committed to seeing our kids back in school under the watchful eyes of the teachers who care for them deeply." This story is truly heartbreaking and just disgusting and demonic. How somebody can look at a child and just take their freedom away from them is disgusting. I don't really have words to say. I'm just so disgusted. This story reminds me of a story I read about 2 years ago about this man right here, Jermaine Moore. This man was assaulting his 3 nieces in both Michigan and in Alabama. He was supposed to be babysitting his nieces while at his mother's home, aka the grandma's house. He was supposed to be babysitting these girls while his sister worked, and he took the time to exploit these little girls and assault them. Now, how he got caught is because he's an idiot, just like this other guy, Walls. He took pictures and videos of his 5-year-old niece performing oral sex on him. And it went viral. It went all around the world. It went as far as France. And everybody was sharing the video. As you know, sharing child porn is a felony. But people did not know that. They were trying to get this into the hands of the police. So how he ended up getting caught, he took pictures and videos of his niece performing lewd acts on him. Now, his fiance is a piece of garbage as well. She did not want to tell on this man. She didn't want to tell where he was. She didn't really care what he did. I guess it was all about getting the ring. Some women are so hypnotized by the fact of having a man, even if it's just a piece of a man, because he's a piece of garbage. To do things like that to a child or anybody, you're a piece of garbage. She did not care, and the only way she gave him up was for the police to put her in cuffs and tell her, "You're going down for this crime too." And then she started singing like a canary. But I have to look more into that story because I believe she was charged. I say all of that to say, why was this little girl so afraid to speak in front of her family about what had happened to her? Now, if you notice, she's 7 right now. This had been happening since she turned 6, so it's been a year since she's been assaulted by, I don't know if this guy is her cousin or her big brother. But I believe someone in the comments under one of the posts said it was her big brother. My thing is, why was she so afraid to talk in front of her family? When she was in front of the family, she said, "Oh, he only hit me." But when the principal talked to her alone, she said, "He had been sexually assaulting me since I turned 6, putting his penis in my mouth and probably doing whatever else." And she told the principal that it was supposed to be a secret. Now, one person in the comments said she probably comes from a family full of secrets, which leads me to believe that somebody in his family knew or had an inclination that something was going on with this man and this little girl, but nobody said anything. Because I find it quite weird that she didn't want to speak in front of her family. She was afraid, but she spoke to the principal, which is technically a total stranger. I think the entire family needs to be investigated to see what's going on and see if this child needs to be placed in a safer location. But tell me what you all think about this in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.